Hey everyone, welcome to Authentic Story Making and another reading and thoughts deep dive video. And today I want to talk about a book I just recently finished. It's called Beyond Valor. It's by John Irwin, and it is a story of his grandfather in World War II and how he gained the Medal of Honor through a mind-blowing act of heroism to save his crew. He was on a B-29 bombing mission. The book itself, in the introduction, tells it this way. The plane filled with smoke. The pilot could not see the controls, and the gigantic bomber began to plummet toward the ocean. The aircraft would slam into the sea in a matter of seconds. Red Irwin was blind and on fire. Flames incinerated his head and arms and upper body. He was a human torch. His brain and body registered infinite waves of pain. But he also clearly sensed the bomb somewhere nearby, flopping around on the floor and spewing mountains of billowing fire and smoke. It was just a few feet from the bomb bay, which contained 8 tons of incendiary and demolition bombs. If the burning phosphorus fell among the bombs, it would touch off a spectacular explosion that could engulf the other B-29s in the formation. Red Irwin had a split-second choice to make. He could resign himself to his fate and die along with the 11 other souls on board the plane, or he could try to alter that fate. The first thing he did was pray. He was a quiet, intensely religious young man, and prayer came naturally to him. Lord, I need your help now. What Red Irwin did next was so courageous and so mind-blowingly difficult that it defies belief. And he walks it to the front of the plane where the only window is and throws it out the window. This bomb is like burning at thousands of degrees. It's phosphorus. And he's carrying it in his bare hands, and he saves his entire crew. It's just amazing. Like there's so many Medal of Honor stories out there that are just mind-blowing to me. But the main thing that sticks with me with this book, and I read this book for the August Christian Book Club. A Medal of Honor story to me is always intensely inspiring. So John Irwin, the one who writes this book about his grandfather, is on a quest to uncover what lies behind the ability to perform these acts of courage and insane heroism that bring about the earning of a Medal of Honor. And he interviews another Medal of Honor winner named Gary Luttrell. And so he's going to also be mentioned in this passage. But what he uncovers just kind of really stuck with me. But I'm going to read an excerpt from this for you guys today and just kind of discuss it a little bit. Gary Luttrell and my grandfather helped me realize that heroism isn't born in a moment, but in the lifetime leading up to that moment. Whatever is in the character of these heroes manifests itself in moments of extreme pressure, and acts of courage, like the Medal of Honor actions, are often acts of pure self-sacrifice and love. I realized that in the case of my grandfather, he had been doing this all his life. He was accustomed to sacrificing himself to the needs of other people. He started work at the age of 10 and became the head of a household consisting of a widow and 7 brothers and sisters. He quit high school to feed his family. He turned down a stint at Yale so he could more quickly put his life on the line for his country. He spent every Sunday morning of his life in church in deep reflection on the fundamental Christian messages of love, compassion, charity, and self-sacrifice. That was his life ethos, to sacrifice your own needs and your own comfort to care for those you love. It was so ingrained in him that in a moment of crisis, when his life and the lives of many others were on the line, he instantly did what he always did. It was a moment of instinct that was a lifetime in the making. When the moment came, he did the same thing for his crew that he did for his family. What lies beyond courage and beyond valor is love. These Medal of Honor recipients don't necessarily make their ultimate decisions as acts of courage, but more as reflex actions of love for those beside them. Time and time again, story after story, the phrase, "I did it for the men beside me," comes up. They didn't want to let down the men beside them, and they didn't want them to die. These most extreme acts of courage on the battlefield are actually extreme acts of love. As Jesus said in John 15:13, "Greater love hath no one than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Perhaps the more you love those around you, the more courage you can summon when it counts. And then he brings up this quote from Gary Luttrell, who was another Medal of Honor recipient. I'm not going to read the whole quote, but the last line of it really just cemented it all for me as I finished this book. He said, "You don't have to be a soldier on the field of battle to go above and beyond the call of duty." I loved the story. I loved the character behind this man, Red Irwin. Red was a nickname because he had red hair. So to just talk about that excerpt a little bit, maybe it's just because I'm a dude, but a Medal of Honor story, a story of heroism and courage like that just hits me in a spot like nothing else can. And I just feel inspired, and something in me just wishes like I could experience that moment of heroism. But that last line there, you don't have to be a soldier on the field of battle to go above and beyond the call of duty. And the point is not to be overwhelmed and overshadowed by the act of heroism, but to be encouraged that that kind of heroism was born out of a life of love poured into the very little things, the ordinary days, the self-sacrifice of one man, one person, pouring into his family, his friends, his country, his faith. And I think that's what I am going to draw out of this story, and what I want to share with everyone as an encouragement. We can go above and beyond the call of duty no matter what position of life we are in, every person. And that's one of the things I think that is very powerful in story itself, and why, everyone here on BookTube loves reading, and we love stories, whether it's contemporary, historical, fantasy fiction, sci-fi. We love stories, and we love the characters. The characters, to me, are the story. We go to stories to see pictures of that true, selfless, pure love. But the cool thing is that every one of us can incorporate that, by the grace of God, into our own stories. So those are my thoughts today, guys. I wanted to get another video out before the week was over. Yep, this was a great book. Again, there was some parts that kind of went a little long and were boring because they actually went away from the story itself to go into stats, airplane stats and specs, and a lot of those kind of things, which they do add to the narrative, but it's not the story itself. So that kind of kept it from becoming a full 5-star for me personally. Yep, just simple thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what kind of books you guys are reading, what you're gleaning from them. But I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.